It's time for a showdown. Facebook video ads versus television commercials. So historically, looking back, Gravity Digital was a traditional ad agency, and we purchased thousands and thousands of dollars worth of airtime for our clients. We did a lot of television campaigns. In fact, we even won some Addy Awards for some of our TV campaigns. And so we thought it'd be fun to take a look back and just realizing how much things have changed and what we're able to do now, and the control and the things that are available to advertisers. And so a couple things to look at. We want to do a comparison here, Facebook in terms of video ads only, to make it fair, and looking at television commercials as an alternative. So 5 areas we want to look at. First off is targeting. And so in terms of targeting, with television, you can target geographically. And so a lot of people don't know, if you buy on the major networks, ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, you're actually buying over the air. And so they broadcast to entire cities, sometimes even outside of that city. And so what happens there is that you have a lot of waste if you're a local business. But if you buy on cable, which is a lot of what we did, if you buy on cable television, you can buy in smaller zones. And so you can actually, with television, get very granular and get very small around a physical location. If you have a medical practice, a chiropractic office, you can actually buy very, very close there. So that's a great thing you can do there. The other thing that you can do in terms of your targeting is you can take a look at demographics. And so you have to look at the network itself. And so you look at a network like ESPN, for example, leans heavily towards men, and you can look at the age and you can look at the household income, and those networks will actually provide you some great information there. And so you can do some targeting that way. And then, of course, the last thing is time of day or even the program that you buy within. And so you can you can kind of target that way, kind of on interests and things like that. It's not perfect, it's not scientific, but you can get some good information there. And so just to give you an example, in terms of like television right here, something we did, a campaign for a client, we worked with a CrossFit gym. And so we took a look, and in terms of geography, we only bought the zone that was around their location. And then we took the next step, and that would have been like the demographics. So we purchased airtime on ESPN. That seemed like a great fit in terms of driving men, women who might be interested into athletic things, sports, things like that. And then to take it a step further, we bought during the CrossFit Games. So CrossFit has a big competition, big national competition where they air it on ESPN, and so we bought commercials inside of that broadcast. And so we actually did a really good job in terms of targeting there. But now let's take a look at Facebook and what we're able to do. So Facebook also has geographic targeting, probably a little more advanced on Facebook than what we can do on TV, but both have that available. The other thing that we like to look at in terms of Facebook is demographic. Well, just like on TV, we were able to choose a demographic based on the network. Facebook ups their game here. So with Facebook, we can actually choose the demographic. So rather than choosing the network based on our demographic, we can just tell Facebook, here's our demographic. We're trying to reach females from 30 to 40 that have kids. Here's the income for the household we're looking at. So you can actually supply all of that to Facebook, and it can find those users for you. And of course, the last thing is advanced targeting. Whereas here we had to pick a program or time of day, no, we can take it a lot further here. So we can target based on behaviors, based on interests that they might have. We can even provide a customer list, and Facebook can actually go do a lookalike and find us more people that look like our customers. And so in terms of what we're able to do with targeting, Facebook's got this one won. Next thing to look at is calls to action. And so a couple of things that we were able to do with television, we could basically ask for someone to make a phone call or visit a website. And that's the goal, is to get someone to take a next step. And so that's kind of what we were left with. And in terms of Facebook, I mean, calls to action, you've got all kinds of options available. So you can take a look at things like getting someone to come visit a website. You can actually ask someone to make a phone call, to send a message, to fill out a lead generation form. There are a lot of different calls to action you have available in terms of Facebook. Within calls to action, the next thing we want to look at is measurement. And so if you are asking someone to take a next step, you want to be able to measure that to understand the effectiveness of your campaigns. And so with television, we were left with 2 basic things. The first being phone calls. So we were asking someone to make a phone call. We can track that. We would use tracking phone numbers to measure that. So we might use one for an entire campaign. We might change it up based on the network, something like that, where we have multiple phone numbers running at any given time. The other thing is a website. And so you may have seen people asking you to visit a website /TV5. And so they're trying to track it that way. The other thing we would do, it was very clunky, but we would look at our Google Analytics traffic, and we would overlay that with our audit log from the television networks to know when our TV commercials aired. And so what we were left with was trying to match up which commercials were working and driving traffic to our website. Totally different ball game over here with Facebook in terms of measurement. And so we can see things like impressions. We can see how many people we've reached. We can look at, when we're talking about video views here, we can look at 3-second views, 10-second views, 100% views of the video. And then even taking it a step further, we can track what happens on the website. So we can actually see clicks to the website, calls, all of these kinds of things, even conversion. So if we're asking someone to make an appointment or fill out a form, we can see all of that with Facebook. So in terms of measurement, Facebook ads comes out on top. The next thing we want to look at is reach. And so at Gravity Digital, we have distilled down what happens online into something we call the patient value journey. And it emulates a normal human-to-human relationship, and we carry that over to what happens online. And so we try to map that out rather than a big make an appointment now button, in all of our advertising. We try to provide value and walk someone through a normal relationship. And so the first step there is what we call awareness or the aware stage. And TV does a really good job with that. TV is great for making people aware. But the next step is where this breaks down, and we see that as engage, getting someone to engage. So that's maybe watching a longer video or clicking through to read an article on our blog about the effects of stress on the body, things like that. And so we're actually able to take Facebook video ads and map those across several stages of the patient value journey, whereas TV commercials really fall under the first one only. So here you see that Facebook video ads come out on top in terms of reach. And the last one is cost. And so just to give you an idea here, when we did TV commercials, we did a lot of local commercials, and you've got two kinds of things that you're looking at. You're looking at the production costs, and you're also looking at the media spend or the airtime. And so cost, when it comes to production, you've usually got a production company involved, you're coming up with a concept, you may have an agency involved, you're writing a script, you're bringing in crew, you might be hiring talent to be in your commercial, you might be paying location fees, pulling permits, things like that. So on the low end, we were looking at several $1,000s for a 30-second local TV spot. The next thing that you have is the media spend. And so you can actually get TV commercials very affordably. When we talk about buying in those smaller zones, you might be surprised to know that you could get a commercial for just a few dollars. Well, the problem is when you lay that out across an entire month, you're still looking at, in terms of television, even on one network, you're looking at a couple of $1,000s. And so there's a lot of cost associated with that. And so the next thing to look at here in terms of cost is Facebook video ads. So in production costs, it's really up to you. You can be as simple as shooting on a smartphone. And so that's exactly what I'm doing here. I'm producing an entire video on nothing more than an iPhone. You can get more advanced with that. You could bring in a crew, you could bring in some cameras, a production company, but I don't think you'd be looking at the same cost as you would with a TV commercial. And then of course there is the media spend or the ad buy. And you can do an ad campaign on Facebook for as little as $5. So it's very affordable. But just to give you some real world examples here and what we're paying in terms of Facebook video ads. So I'll give you an example for a chiropractor that we're working with right now. So we're able to get views, 30-second views. So videos don't have to be 30 seconds like they do in TV. You can have any length here. But for someone to view 30 seconds of any one of our videos that are running on this campaign, we're looking at about 14 cents right now. So 14 cents is very affordable for someone to watch a 30-second video. But I want to take it a step further. Some of the videos we have are over 2 minutes long. And so we have, I pulled one example here. We have a video, it's over 2 minutes. And to get someone to watch the entire video is costing us about 37 cents right now. So over 2 minutes, these are 30-second spots. We're getting someone to watch essentially over 4 commercials in a row. And they're engaged, they're watching it, over 4 commercials in a row for 37 cents. So as you can see here, in terms of cost, Facebook ads comes out on top. And in general, this is why we're leveraging Facebook ads for our clients right now, particularly when it comes to video. And so I hope you enjoyed that, give you an idea of things that we used to do on television and what that looks like, how it compares with Facebook video ads. If you'd like to get some more information, I mentioned our patient value journey that we map a lot of these ads to. We do offer a 30-minute free patient value journey audit. Would love for you to take us up on that, and we'd love to meet you and chat with you. Thanks a lot for watching.